Still raising livestock, raising the livestock underneath the soil. Pigs are important to me. Without the manure from the pigs, wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing.
This is swine country, and we've visited with Gary and Barbara, and they have been doing this for a long time, but they do this in a way that is special because this guy is really into his soil. The soil of a farm is the essence of it, literally, for the sustainability of the operation. If you don't take care of your soil, then it will just go away. And what I mean by that is soil erosion. Literally take your topsoil away. Once you lose that, then you have less and less yield. You have environmental degradation. Your farm literally goes bye-bye.
Raising hogs is a 365-day-a-year job. You have to be there or make sure somebody else is there to check on those animals. And when I hit the age of 65, I slowed down a little bit and put more focus on the grain side of it, putting the knowledge I've learned over the years into working on improving my grain raising skills and soil management. I realized that there was a lot more going on under the surface in the soil, but my livestock was in the soil instead of above ground. It's a challenge to try to figure out to make the best use of those animals in the grounds. It's raising food today and improving the soil so we can raise more food in the future.
Our soil is our best friend in agriculture, right? I mean, we've got to treat it gently and with respect. And I fear we have lost a little bit sight of that. But I think there's a realization now that this is really important. We want to work these soils forever. We want to pass them on to our kids and grandkids. I mean, it's clear to us what that means financially, sustainability, right? To have a nest egg for our kids and grandkids and pass something on to the next generation. But this is not different. This is not different. This is your treasure trove here.
Yeah. Positions by other groups say that livestock is ruining the world and we should eliminate all livestock. I actually say that for sustainability, livestock is the solution, not the problem. I'm out here trying to improve the soil, even though probably isn't going to be a member of our family farm in it in the future, but I still want to leave that soil in a better condition than what it was when I started farming. 5 days a week I have bacon. The other 2 I have sausage. Henry County, which is the county we're in, one time had more pigs than any other county in the U.S. Started farming with my father. We worked together for a great many years. Back in the beginning, we were raising pigs in individual huts out in hog pasture. We'd have to build fence for every year and rotate the pastures, and they kept us very busy. And then when demand for lean pork came along, people who raised pigs outside were getting discounted because the pork wasn't as lean, and it was more difficult to raise lean hogs outside. So that's when we started transitioning to modern buildings where we can control the environment and raise those leaner pigs more efficiently and actually give them better care and protection from the environment.
Came to me and asked me if I'd be interested in purchasing those 2 buildings, and right or wrong, I said yeah, so. There's 2 buildings here, and they both have 8-foot deep pits underneath them that hold the manure. So I can hold a year's worth of manure, then I pump it out in the fall. And what Gary's been trying to do is back the rate of manure off a little bit because of the content of the nitrogen in the manure. We've been able to lower his rate so that we're not over-applying. We don't want to be putting on any more than we need to.
The main focus of my lab has been on nitrogen so far, and it's kind of a tricky nutrient because if growers don't apply enough, then yield will be affected because nitrogen is often the limiting nutrient for crops. So growers have to apply enough to get a decent yield. But if they apply too much, then some of that nitrogen may be leached as nitrate to the groundwater, where it is considered a contaminant. Manures, but also compost or any other organic material, they contain organic carbon, and that's an energy source for microorganisms. So they need that carbon for energy, but they also need it to build their own biomass. Synthetic fertilizers, they usually just contain 1 or 2 or 3 nutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and manures, they contain all the nutrients plants need.
Manure, to me, is the perfect fertilizer. Secondary and micronutrients already there, which are all needed to grow crops. More and more people are finding that they're starting to have to add those micronutrients if they're just using synthetic fertilizer.
I mean, manure is a resource, not a waste. It's valuable manure. It's there collected in the pit of the hog building, and that's less money that Gary has to put into fertilizing the ground by not having to buy the commercial fertilizer.
When farmers' first modern production started years ago, the Green Revolution, we didn't have the equipment to handle no-till, so the soil was always turned over every spring to loosen it up so we could work it and plant it. Tillage does make raising crops easier, but there's a trade-off there. You're exposing that soil to erosion, moisture loss, just general degradation because of the stirring that up all the time. Tillage practices need a lot of fuel and time and expense and equipment. Extra cost of doing the tillage is not paying for the difference in yield. Government, through USDA was working with farmers trying to help control erosion. My thought was to try to improve upon that. So that's the reason we went originally no-till. No-till in the long term, it's the best way to manage that soil. Basically, you leave the soil untouched.
We're trying to strip till the manure. So I'm spreading the manure on a line, and they're going to plant right on top of that. We're not moving a lot of dirt. We're just moving enough to cover the manure, and that helps with odor reduction. It helps with any runoff. So we want to have that manure, that slot covered. It's just another tool to be better stewards of the land.
And then going to cover crops, I was trying to cut erosion even more. Cover crop, it's a crop that you plant soon after harvest, as you can get it into the field over winter and then come back green in the spring. It's basically a way to keep living roots in the soil between your cash crops. And also it helps hold nutrients in place and helps with weed control. A lot of great things coming from cover crops. Having people tell me that they notice the difference in the soil kind of is rewarding to me because some of my efforts are paying off. Fortunately, we have a neighbor that does crazier things than what I do, so I don't look as crazy. Yeah, we're heading out to the field here where I've been using my practices for a number of years. It's no-tilled. Cover crop was planted in early October, mixture of winter wheat, winter barley, spring oats, and camelina. Manure has been applied as the fertilizer for the next year's crop.
I think it's really important that people understand. Of course, they don't want to be told you're doing something wrong or you have been doing something wrong.
Yeah.
But, here's something that we do differently, and we like to see the results. Saves us time, saves us money, saves us nutrients. It makes us more sustainable.
Yes.
Okay, you can see it's kind of blocky here, but you can see holes in there. Those are from earthworms, and you pick it up and it just crumbles.
I like the color of that soil.
When I first started farming it, the average organic matter was 3.2. The test taken last year was 4.9.
Wow.
One thing is the carbon. is carbon in the soil, and organic matter is left over from living things like roots, manure, and the biology. And it all accumulates, and it gives you a source of fertilizer in the future as it breaks down. But organic matter is very important.
Soil organic matter helps with soil structure, and that's mainly through the formation of aggregates. And aggregates are kind of three-dimensional structures that include clay, sand, organic material. And the organic matter can act kind of like a glue to form aggregates. Within aggregates, the pores are really small. They can hold back water much better than bigger pores. Soil organic matter helps with infiltration of water, but also retain water that is then available to the plants.
Feeding the biology in the soil, earthworms are a very important part of that. They actually do our tillage for us. They cycle nutrients, they move up and down in the soil. With the earthworm cycling and the cover crops, I've been able to go no-till for about 15, 20 years continuously, and used it quite a bit before that.
So this is where traffic happens, right? Where vehicles would drive onto a field or off a field. So the compaction here should be much higher, of course.
Yeah.
So let's see how that goes, okay? Ooh! Oh my God! Okay, I'm deep in the red, okay? I'm deep in the red. Jeez Louise. So I can imagine if compaction is as high as it is here, then water infiltration would be non-occurring.
Right.
But it's nothing compared to this, okay? I mean, this is just incredible how soft this is. This is like butter. This is like butter.
Yep.
And I love butter.
Yep. Totally.
I could not believe how easy it was to put that soil probe in the ground. It literally went in like butter. This is not the result of him tilling, because he doesn't. This is a result of the soil improving, a total lack of compaction. If his colleagues were to feel that themselves, they actually need to go on these fields and try what I just tried, and they're convinced. And so with this combination, you increase what we call soil carbon sequestration, which is the pulling of carbon from the air into first crops and then soil, and locking it in the soil. And that's really important, because if you were to till, then the carbon that was sequestered in the ground, that was trapped in the ground, would come back out. It won't do that here. I mean, no pun intended, but this is your piggy bank.
Yeah.
And you want to build it. And you don't want to destroy it and deplete it.
If you don't take care of something, I mean, it's going to fall apart. And the way Gary keeps doing his best to make the soil better than when he started, I mean, that means that you can stay in business, be more successful with farming than you ever have been before. I mean, providing food for people to eat, I mean, come on, that's kind of essential to life. And the fact that Gary and farmers can produce that and feed the world, I mean, it is literally feeding the world. I mean, it's everything, it's huge.
If you never get out of your comfort zone, you never go anywhere. You're always stuck in the same spot. You have to go out there and try practices. You fine-tune your management as you go along. Sustainability is raising food now that maintains the ability of future generations to raise food. What I do is regenerative agriculture. And to me, that is farming and raising food now in a way that improving the soil to improve the ability to grow crops in the future.